Γεια σας! Καλώς τους! Είμαστε και πάλι στο πρώτο θρανίο και εγώ είμαι η Φιλενάδος στη Μελπομένη. Σήμερα θα κάνουμε ένα μάθημα στα αγγλικά για πιο προχωρημένα επίπεδα. Σήμερα θα ασχοληθούμε με την έκθεσή σας κυρίως, αλλά και σε άλλες περιπτώσεις μπορείς να εφαρμόσεις αυτά που θα πούμε σήμερα. Κυρίως όμως την έκθεση όσοι είναι να κάνετε εξετάσεις ή για IELTS ή για proficiency ή τέλος πάντων κάτι πιο advanced. Εν πάση περιπτώσει θα δώσω συνώνυμα σχετικά με το πώς θα λέγαμε ένα μεγάλο πρόβλημα, ένα δύσκολο πρόβλημα, κουλουπό. Θα σε βοηθήσει να προσεγγίσεις το θέμα με έναν διαφορετικό τρόπο, πιστεύω, και έχεις και αρκετά συνώνυμα για να τα χρησιμοποιήσεις. Όχι όλα αυτά που έχω γράψει εγώ σε μία έκθεση, θα είναι υπερβολή, αλλά εν πάση περιπτώσει πάμε να δούμε τι θα δούμε. Όπως πάντα, τα advanced μαθήματα τα κάνω εξ ολοκλήρου στα αγγλικά, επομένως έχεις λεξικάκι μαζί σου και κοιτάς το translation από τη λέξη που περιγράφω εγώ με άλλα λόγια στα αγγλικά. Έτσι, το κοιτάς λοιπόν όπως θέλεις στο λεξικό σου, τσακ για να βγάλεις την άκρη. Okay, let's go. So, first off, I've shown that already. It's a grave problem. I've kept the word problem here and I've called it grave. Now, grave means of great importance, very important, very significant, and also it would be kind of heavy in a way, right? Kind of heavy in importance and magnitude maybe, and effect on people, on the environment, and so on. Depends on the problem you are talking about, right? Then I've got a major. This one you know already, right? Major means big or of great importance, or generally big, right? It's major, it's huge, right? So major problem. Again, I'm keeping the word problem here. Moving on. I like using that myself actually, a pressing concern. Now I've changed the word problem with concern. Concern is anything that makes you think and it makes you worried. It's not just a thought, it makes you worried, right? Like a problem does. You are worried and you try to find out and solve it and resolve the situation, right? And if it's pressing, that means it puts pressure on you. It's pressing you, your mind or people or humanity or the community, right? It's pressing, a pressing concern. Right, next off, I've got crucial. Yes, and matter is to replace the word problem in this card. You could call it a problem or you could call it a matter. Matter is the same as saying, in this context here, would be the same as saying issue, right? An issue, a matter. So this matter is pretty crucial. That's very crucial. It's a crucial matter. Means it makes people, again, it makes us concerned. And it is crucial, means it's important for us to overcome it, to solve it, right? So you could call something a matter, which is not necessarily a problem, or you don't want to name it that, right? For example, a problem in my life would be, that's very personal for every one of us, but what is a problem in your life? And then we've got other things that are matters. It's not a problem, but you still have to deal with it. That's a matter, and in this case, it's crucial matter. Right. Okay then. Next off, I've got, oh well, me again, you know, that's a considerable challenge. It's not a problem anymore. I've made this one a challenge. Challenge is anything that challenges us, that is daunting to us, that something that you need again to go through, to overcome, to surpass as a person or all of us collectively as a community, and it's challenging, it's not easy, right? It's very demanding and it's difficult, so it's a challenge. Will we make it or not, right? Are we surpassing that stage or not? It's a challenge. And considerable can again mean huge, big, or of great importance. So it really depends here with the word considerable. It really depends here on what you're talking about, whether you mean it big in mass or in effect, outcome, right? Importance. You could call it considerable, right? Yeah. And nice one. This one can be changed here, but I found the word, the adjective formidable, a good match for the word challenge here. Formidable is a word we oftentimes combine with the word opponent or contestant or opponent or competitor, we call them formidable. Formidable is, so it means someone that you respect out of his, or based on his power, based on the threat he poses to you, based on skills, someone that you respect in a way, meaning not like I respect you, but meaning you are kind of afraid of them, right? They are respectable in a way that they make you scared, right? All right, so that's a formidable, again, opponent or competitor. And in this case, you could use it with a challenge. And now you are saying a formidable challenge. For example, it's a major problem which humanity should resolve, but resolving it is a formidable challenge, right? So you do not necessarily have to describe the problem itself by the phrase formidable challenge, but you could use it to describe the way of solving it or the process of solving it. Right, I've used that one before, I think. It's daunting, as the same as saying challenging, right? Daunting, it's challenging, and that means, again, you're kind of afraid of it. It's too difficult, right? Too difficult for you to overcome or to deal with, and it makes you a little scared of it, a little, you know, it's daunting, it's challenging, it's very demanding, and it needs all of your skills and all of your power. And I call that one an issue. It could be, again, a matter, an issue, right? And you can call it daunting. Also, good combination. I've seen this a lot in English learning books or English teaching books. It's a daunting task. So you would say task, as an exercise, as a task, as a work you have to do, right? So I've heard this as a daunting task. For example, resolving a problem of X, Y, Z is a daunting task, right? So I would call it that. What else do I have here? All right, I don't know why. That's not a negative kind of thing, but okay. I've called this one substantial issue. Two ways of saying it here, of pronouncing the A in the middle. Substantial, right? So it really depends on what is better for you and what you would like to do. Try it out in a lexicon, again in a dictionary, and see what suits you best. Substantial issue is something which has got substance. Substance is the element of it, right? So if you call something substantial, you may mean it is there's much to it, there's element to it, there's substance to it. Right, that's a substantial issue. You will call it maybe a synonym of important, of the word important, but also at the same time meaning important and very basic, very elementary. So you would say overcoming the negative effects of climate change is substantial, right? You know what I'm saying? It's just basic to go over. It's so important, as if it's basic to be without it, right? We would call it substantial. Not necessarily a negative type of thing to say, the word substantial, but okay. That one's maybe a little better. It's fundamental. I've met this one a concern as well. Fundamental means contains the word fundament first off, right, without the ending here. It's fundament is the base, right? Imagine when building a building, right? A fundament is the base they kind of make to, to support all of the stores and all of the floors and all of the building, right? All of it. So that's the fundament. And fundamental means, again, very basic, it's a solid thing, a very concrete thing that we need to solve, to get away with it and to get through with it. That's a fundament, and a fundamental issue or concern, or it's a fundamental question maybe also. It's a fundamental question will be a question, a very basic one that we need to answer for ourselves. For example, whether the death penalty should be or not. That's a fundamental question, right? It reminds you of a very ethical thing, of something anybody should have sorted out for themselves. Right. Now, one word to go for the whole thing, right? To replace the whole thing, big problem, serious problem, and so on, will be a malady. You call malady practically anything which is bad. If a bad thing happens to you, to society, to humanity, anything which is, you see, it derives from the Latin. I don't know if that's made clear by the word itself. Malady is a very, very bad thing, right? So you would call the topic of your essay, or the substantial part of your essay, right? The main point, you would call it a malady, to be very dramatic. And a little less dramatic, maybe that's a hardship. So again, anything that is hard in your life, anything that's hard to you, or maybe hard to collectively all of us, right, would be a hardship. So yeah, one word for all of it. Calamity, again, calamity is an even worse word, an even more negative word, and more negative than a hardship. Calamity is really a real bad thing which was imposed upon the people, which came upon us. It's calamity. Calamity can be a war, can be war or civil war, or I don't know, a virus killing everyone or a lot of people would be calamity. Yep. Again, one word for the whole thing. I've got this one, the core issue, not as bad as the rest of the words. Core is the center, again, right? Core is the very center of anything. Like, for example, if you imagine the earth, this should depict the earth here. The earth, and we've got the core of the earth, which is the central part of it, right? The very hot one, that's the core. So it's a core issue, means it's very central. It is in the center of attention, or should be brought to the center of attention, and it's a core issue, right? Again, describes something very elementary, very fundamental, something which should be resolved. Yes. Right. Okay, I got this one. Now I'm bringing in the word complication. Complication is not necessarily a problem, it's not a calamity or something as big as that, but a complication is when things get complicated, right? When things get a little messed up. It wasn't planned to be that way, but it happened, right? An unexpected negative effect or negative outcome is a complication. And if you call it acute, acute describes severe and immediate at the same time. Like you would say acute pain, it's when you get a very strong headache, all of a sudden that's acute. It happens just like that, right? Very immediate and very, very strong, very severe, and it's yeah, and it's quality here. So you call it an acute or severe complication, an acute complication. All right, we've got 3 more to go, or something like that. Let's check out that one. Insoluble. Yes. This is supposed to be a B over here, over here. It's supposed to be a B. Insoluble is something you cannot solve or resolve, right? That's soluble, insoluble, sorry, right? If you omit the in over here, soluble is something that you can solve, that you can get done, you can get out of the way for everyone. So insoluble problem. Again, I've got the word question, but you have to be a little more careful when using that. You have to make sure it really, fits the topic that you're writing about, but you would call it insoluble. Maybe you could say something like combating climate change appears to be insoluble, but here are some solutions, right? Here are some solutions is not something you would write in the essay, but the first part was kind of good. So yeah, that's insoluble. And insuperable. Oh, let's go. And now I've got the word trouble over here. That's a little more informal. I'm not sure if you would call it trouble in an essay for your IELTS or proficiency exam, but okay. Just be careful with it, because it was used to be an uncountable noun. It's getting out of control a little bit lately, but insuperable trouble is something that you cannot overcome. You cannot have it resolved and have it done, right? It's insuperable. Again, kind of the same thing as this one here. This one's more related, you know, insoluble is more related to a solution, definitely. This one is too hard, let's say, or too mountain, let's say, too big, right? You cannot surpass it. Insuperable. Yeah. And my last one for today. Oh, an easy one. We've talked about that already. Severe. If you say something severe, that means it's too much. It is too painful. It is too difficult. It is too big. No, it's not too big. But too painful or too difficult would be good. And severe, complication again, severe. This would describe the complication very well, but it wouldn't describe a problem. Well, you know, you have to be very careful with all of those combinations that I've made, because I've combined them in a way that looks reasonable and makes sense according to the definition of it. But be very careful, for example, when you try to mix them up. Let's say this one, I will not mix up the two, right? I will not mix them up in terms of quality and in terms of precision of vocabulary. That's a major key element that we should pay attention to when writing. When speaking as well, but when we speak, we all make mistakes, or we are more informal, and it's a running thing. It's a very lively kind of expression. But when you write, you should be extra careful in the precision of the words, like using the right word in the right place is something that also the examiner is looking out for. So yeah, be extra careful with that. That's all there is for today from me. All of this vocabulary and all of this stuff we did today. I hope you really enjoyed it, and I hope it's helpful to you for your exams or for yourself, for self-development. Now I'm off teaching another class, and I hope to see you next time. I really love you. Mwah! Σας φιλάει πολύ η φίλη σας η Μελπομένη.